An ornate small terrestrial bird of Tibetan highlands, usually dry hillsides and valleys with sparse shrub cover, often seen hurrying along with a bobbing gait, when surprised on a roadside or in pastures. Rowish overall, with black and white face pattern, and bright orange neck, can be quite tame, especially in protected areas around monasteries where often fed. Rotund chicken-like bird with salmon-colored face, and thick rusty streaks on sides. Look for dark belly patch, which is obvious on male but reduced or lacking on female. In flight, look for bright orangey tail. Widespread and fairly common throughout much of Europe and Central Asia, although populations declining in many areas. Introduced and well established in North America, primarily in the West but also locally to eastern Canada. Look for flocks on the ground in open areas, especially agricultural fields and edges. Shy and inconspicuous, can be difficult to spot. A stout terrestrial bird of open areas, with ample grassy or shrubby cover, moves into agricultural fields in winter to forage on waste grain. Gray-brown overall, with large dark blotch on the belly and orange face and breast, much like similar gray partridge, its westerly counterpart, usually found in medium-sized groups. A large terrestrial bird of hill forests. Male has very long black and white tail and is strikingly patterned, appears crafted out of black-edged gold and white porcelain scales. Female has peach belly and dark comma-like stripe behind the eye. Courting male makes a series of sputtering, bubbling, chirping, and squeaking notes, as well as loud and resonant wing drumming. Contact and alarm calls are similarly sputtering, varying in loudness. An elegant, long-tailed pheasant with burnished coppery brown feathers, rather secretive, occurs mostly in dense cedar and cypress forests near streams. Male has bright red patch of skin around the eye and long banded tail. Female resembles Japanese subspecies of ring-necked pheasant but is reddish with shorter tail, conspicuous white fringing on breast feathers, and less uniform plumage patterns generally. Gives indistinctive, low, coo-coo calls while foraging. Male makes deep drumming sounds in breeding season during late winter and early spring. A stunning pheasant species endemic to Taiwan. The male a rich slaty blue with white markings and red facial skin. The female rich brown with extensive pale feather edges, generally retiring, foraging quietly in the undergrowth of montane forests, but occasionally seen in the open, particularly in places where fed, usually seen singly, in pairs, or in small family units, female with young. In breeding season, males drum with wings and give shrill whistling calls. Male lacks white back and tail of Swinhoe's pheasant. Female has dark bill, grayish legs, pale markings below, and graduated, pointy tail, unlike female Swinhoe's. a shy wraith of southeastern China's subtropical evergreen hill forests. Male is arrestingly elegant, with a silver neck, brown and white banded tail, and shining copper back, wings, and chest. Female is brown overall and intricately patterned. Both sexes have a black throat and red face, though the male's is more extensive, most often seen foraging along roads or trails at dawn or dusk, or visiting feeder blind setups. Dashingly plumaged, long-tailed terrestrial bird. Male has chestnut body, steely blue neck and wing patches, white wingbursts, and a long black and white banded tail. Brownish female shorter-tailed, with black spotted upper parts and red facial patch, usually found singly, in pairs, or in trios in forest openings, meadows, and along rural roadsides, typically in the early morning. This long-tailed game bird is native to Asia and has been introduced in many other parts of the world. Male has fleshy, red facial wattles, iridescent blue neck, and richly colored red and golden underparts with dark spots. His namesake white neck ring is indistinct on some birds. Female is buffy brown, heavily marked with black, and usually shows some white markings around the eye. In much of its introduced range, including North America, there are no similar species. Elsewhere, note male's blue neck and heavily spotted body, and females spotted or chevroned, not barred, underparts and mostly plain face lacking strong red markings. Found in farmland, scrub, and along the edge of forest, and often gives a loud, abrupt rasping call that draws attention to its presence. Japanese birds are now treated as a separate species, green pheasant. Endemic to Japan and the national bird. The male is striking with bottle green underparts, purplish blue neck and head with red facial skin. Upper parts are intricately patterned brown, and powder gray with a long, pointed tail. Females are entirely brown with spotted and scalloped pattern. Inhabits fields, hedgerows, and brushy areas. Female could be confused with female copper pheasant, although that species is more tied to forest. Male gives a far-carrying ko-kyak, followed by a noisy wing flutter. Flushes loudly with an explosion of wings and hoarse calls. Shy and surprisingly difficult to find and mixed in conifer woodland, where it runs quickly from detected disturbance. Red and gold male stunning and unmistakable. Female differs from common pheasant in strongly barred plumage, dull pinkish, not gray, legs and feet, and from Lady Amherst pheasant and lighter barring, more orangish coloration, and the lack of a bare patch of gray skin behind the eye. Native to China but introduced very locally in Britain and Hawaii. However, captive birds might escape anywhere. Attractive terrestrial bird of hilly forests with dense patches of undergrowth. Stately male is resplendent, with long striped tail, white belly, and black and white scaling on neck. Female brown with black stripping, and gray skin around the eye. Female golden pheasant similar but grayer in coloration and has smaller pinkish eye patch. Moves about quietly when feeding in dense vegetation, usually singly, or in pairs. A large, pale pheasant with a long tail, an untidy crest, and red skin around the eye. The male is pale gray, barred throughout, with thick black bands on the tail, a rust-colored lower back, and a dark belly. The female is browner with white streaks on the body, white bars on the tail, a rust-colored belly, and black spots on the breast. Shy, often found in small groups along steep, grassy hillsides in the Himalayas. Quite noisy, usually delivering a series of thin and scratchy notes. Large terrestrial bird of open subalpine forests feeding in edges and scrubby meadows. Unique in its mostly white plumage and bushy black tip tail, the adult resembles a domestic chicken from a distance. Tibetan subspecies pale gray overall instead of white. Ears, shorter than those of other eared pheasant species, and do not rise above the nape. Distinctive slate gray pheasant with a bright red face, scraggly fan-shaped tail, and bizarre white whiskers, the namesake. Ears, also note black cap, pale gray rump, and whitish belly. Restricted to the southeastern Tibetan Plateau, where it inhabits areas with dense scrubby or brushy cover, typically at 3,000–5,000 meters, though it is known to descend in the winter. Regularly found around monasteries which put food out for wildlife. Forages on the ground in small to medium-sized flocks. Can be vocal, giving high-pitched grunts and a rising squeal. Do CWEW. An odd, thick-set terrestrial bird with an unusual pair of upswept white plumes, ears, emerging from below a blood-red face. Overall gray-brown, with frosty gray-white rump and dark-tipped tail. Usually found foraging in brushy clearings and forest edges, where habituated to human presence and fed. Regularly visits monastery and estate grounds. The most northerly of the eared pheasants, and the only one in its range, gives various hoarse grunts and squeals. A large gray terrestrial bird with an elegantly frilly tail, bright red face and upswept white facial plumes, ears, are unique in its range, found in both subalpine and alpine areas, preferring open forests in the former and scrubby meadows in the latter. Forages in small groups for most of the year, pairing off during the breeding season, hunted in much of its range, thus wary and found in remote areas, far from settlements. Remarkably plumaged terrestrial bird of lowland and foothill broadleaf forests, most often encountered on trails and roadsides in the early morning. Male blue-gray with a bright red face, and long, glossy black tail. Namesake, fireback, a splotch of bright iridescent coloration on the rump, is difficult to see. Female brown with black and white banded wings, and smaller red facial skin patch. Similar female silver pheasant lacks prominent wing barring. Male whistles loudly to attract females. A spectacular dark pheasant of tropical lowland and lower montane rainforests. Male is glossy blue-black with a tufted crest, and female is warm chocolate brown. Note the electric blue facial skin and whitish legs. Similar to Bulwer's pheasant but male Bornean crested has bright orange belly and yellowish tail. Female has pale-edged feathers on the underparts. Forages singly or in small groups on the forest floor. Shy but has become habituated in some places. Gives guttural, chucket, or soft weep calls. Males also give a wing-whirring display. A rare, compact pheasant of damp tropical lowland rainforest, especially peat swamp forest, dark overall with bright red facial skin and a cocked, vertically flattened tail. Males have fine vermiculations on the wings, deep orange, fire, back, purple rump and pale orange tail. Females are dark blue all over, exceedingly shy, typically moving in pairs or small groups. Female is similar to Salvador's pheasant male, but the two species do not normally co-occur and the latter as often has its tail pointing downwards. Gives a relatively high pitch, chick, followed by a low, tackrow. Chunky pheasant endemic to Sumatra's highlands and foothills. Male is dark iridescent blue, while the female is warm brown with a dark tail. Both sexes have short tails, bright red patches of bare facial skin, and pale bills with a faint hook. Forages quietly on the forest floor, typically singly, sometimes in pairs. Generally fairly quiet, deep whoop contact calls sometimes given, and males give a wing-whirring display that can be audible at close range. Chunky pheasant endemic to Sumatra's highlands and foothills. Male is dark iridescent blue, while the female is warm brown with a dark tail. Both sexes have short tails, bright red patches of bare facial skin, and pale bills with a faint hook. Forages quietly on the forest floor, typically singly, sometimes in pairs. Generally fairly quiet, deep whoop contact calls sometimes given, and males give a wing whirring display that can be audible at close range. Uncommon, medium-sized pheasant. Male is almost unbelievable looking. An immense fan of a snow-white tail sticks out of a rotund, coal-black body. All rufous brown female is more normal looking. Her tail is shorter and narrower. Both sexes have sky-blue facial skin, but the male's extends into wattles, which he erects during display. Found in hilly areas and foothill and montane forests, sometimes nomadic, seeking out fruiting trees. A distinctive pheasant with bare red facial skin, a backward pointing crest, and a vertically compressed tail. Males are iridescent black and silver. Females are grayish-brown. Coloration varies considerably throughout its range, with northeastern birds averaging the darkest. Occurs in forested areas, usually in hilly or mountainous regions. Overlaps with silver pheasant in the north of its range, with which it produces confusing intergrades. Native to South and Southeast Asia, and introduced to the Hawaiian islands of Hawaii and western Oahu. Males give a soft crow. Other calls include low grunts and high-pitched squeals. Large and spectacular pheasant found in forested areas, variable across its large range, but the long-tailed male has either white or silvery gray upper parts, with a black crest, breast, and belly. Northern males are whiter above than their southern counterparts, though they still have some light black markings on the wings and back. Females are brownish overall with a much shorter tail. Both sexes have bright red face and legs. Hybridizes extensively with Cali pheasant, where ranges overlap, producing variable intermediate hybrids. Secretive, handsome endemic pheasant of Khyvans Mountains, male slaty blue from nape to flanks, with contrasting white upper back, brown mantle, and dark gray wings. Female mostly rich brown with pale markings above. Both sexes have red facial skin, more extensive in male. Forages quietly in pairs in the forest understory, occasionally along forest edge on trails or roads. Both sexes give subtle clucking calls, and a high-pitched squeaky alarm call. Male has white in tail and back, unlike Mikado pheasant. Female distinguished by richer plumage tones, broader tail, pale bill, reddish legs, and unmarked underparts. Critically endangered species with tiny populations in remote hilly terrain of central Vietnam, where it inhabits densely vegetated hillsides with dense low cover. There are no recent reports of the species in the wild. Male dark iridescent blue with a white tuft of a crest, female brown and crestless. Both sexes have red skin around the eye. Related Cali pheasant has pale belly and dark crest.